That's it.
Or it won't, but it's a fair chance that breaking is possible. It's an option.
Yeah, it
So
is. It definitely is an option.
as I was telling my friends, I don't think I'll buy another car with another sun with a sunroof on it or a
No.
moonroof. They're just points of failure. They
Yes.
will eventually break, and you will have to pay for something that you do not use because,
Especially if you use it. Yeah.
well, I don't even use it.
Oh.
That's the worst part.
Oh, that
But the
sucks.
one time I wanted to push it back. This happened when I was in college. A little metal clip broke off into the track, lodged itself in there when I pulled it back, and it couldn't come out. So now I've got this sunroof
Stuck
that's
open.
cracked, stuck in open position for the most part. I'm putting garbage bags over it to stop the rain. I had to fix it myself. Yeah, that's when I was like, you know what? I don't think I need to do any more
Nope.
sunroofs anymore. But
Nope.
since I decide, also I don't buy new cars, so I never get to pick the car I want. So whatever car is on the lot, that's the car I get. So my car currently has a sunroof that I do not use.
When Sonny and I first started dating, she had a convertible. It was this little
Mm,
white Chevy Cavalier, right?
I think, uh-huh.
And never put the top down. Never. They had a convertible, pointless. But this where it met, like where it locked in, and then the that that point was fine. It's just where the doors closed. There was like both sides would leak if it rained
Mm,
really hard. So you get just like this
mm.
little like pencil-sized hole that water would just pour into, and you'd be like driving with like a big gulp cup holding catching the hole. It was
Oh,
brutal.
oh,
Hated that. Car was fine, but the convertible for like no reason.
no purpose on that.
No, never went down. Uh, I think we even had when we were in Florida. It never went down.
I- the convertible Cavalier is not the stunt that you think it is. It's just
Nope.
2 miles an hour, sir. No, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yep. Oh boy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We got important things to talk about.
Ah. you got, you got things to talk about.
The Kansas City Chiefs were absolutely
Yes.
embarrassed
Oh
in the
my
Super Bowl.
god. Oh my god. I don't think I'm trying to think about embarrassing beatings that I've seen. The Giants back in 2000 might be like that, but this
When they
game
lost
was
to Baltimore,
over. Yeah,
that score was like 20-7, though, wasn't
yeah, but it looked bad, right?
it?
Like the other only one I can remember is I think one of those cowboy beatings. They were
Well,
drubbings. Those were it was
the,
ugly.
the
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 one the
Broncos got
Leon Let
destroyed the first two times they were in the Super Bowl.
oh
The
yeah, but
Broncos.
I that's 80s. You got that's a
Okay.
little too young for me.
Okay.
So I go 6 years later and go to
The
where,
Bills took a whomping the one time.
yeah,
The
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 one where
Leon Lett
Leon
game.
let that's
Yeah.
the one I'm thinking about. Yes. That one was bad.
Yeah. There
And I
was
don't think
one
I've seen
relatively
one.
recently, like this. Maybe it was like the Seahawks when they won the Super Bowl. I can't remember.
Who would they have beaten? Seahawks would have beaten AFC team.
Yep. Gotta look it up.
Colts first game? First
Yeah, they beat the Broncos 43-8.
oh. Mm. I bet it didn't look that bad. I
Oh
bet it
no,
didn't
it
look
did.
like
It
this
looked
last game.
terrible. I remember. I remember because my dad texted me in like the second quarter. He's like, "Well, this game's over." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." Because the Seahawks were up 22-0 at the half, 36-8 after three, 43-8 at the end of the game. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, this game was tough to watch
it
from
was.
a Kansas perspective
Yes.
because I thought that the defense was playing well. I thought the defense was actually playing well enough to win a game.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
But they had two turnovers happen on basically one. Where's a pick six? No, it didn't. It got returned to the 1 yard
No, it
line.
was
I
pick
think
six. Cooper
it was a
DT.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, one was a pick six, and one might as well have just been a
Yeah.
pick six.
He dove and just laid there, and then nobody touched him for like 10 seconds. He's like, I could have got up. Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, that and by that, those were all in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
right? When the score was what, 24-0 at the half?
24 nothing. The Eagles had more points than Kansas City had offensive yards at
Mm-hmm.
the half. That's how bad this game was. The final is 40-22, and it wasn't that close.
No, 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 no.
18
They were
points. They
the
the
champagne
yeah.
was being drunk on the sidelines
Kenny
in
Pickett
the
was on
third
the field.
quarter.
Kenny Pickett has more Super Bowl pass attempts than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, like the list of amazing quarterbacks that it probably deserves Super Bowl attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Pickett got to take the field because the Eagles were up
Because it
so
was just
big.
oh yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But like I said, I thought they went out there in the first half. They was able to do what they wanted because you know what they wanted to do was stop Saquon Barkley,
Hmm. They did that all
right?
game.
They did that. They had a drive early on that at the beginning of the game, the refs weren't. I don't know what the refs was looking at.
Hmm.
The
Couple bad calls in the first,
couple bad
both
calls. It was a
sides.
fourth down play where they said, now he did hit his face. AJ Brown did kind of push off. It was a little light. It wasn't
Every
nothing
receiver
serious.
pushes off. Every receiver pushes off.
Yeah,
Every
but I
DB
think I
pushes
think it
off.
was more the hands was directly in the
Yeah.
face mask, so maybe that's why they called it. But it was a little ticky tack, and that one happened. And then they basically did the same thing on a fourth down, another fourth down play. I think it was no, it
Hmm.
wasn't fourth down. I think it was like 3rd and 24. It was some they just sacked them. They got the ball, and then they called a deep was it defensive pass? No, what was it they called? Unnecessary roughness or
So the
something?
Eagles got the first down. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Goddard went up and they hit. It's like a
Yes.
defensive receiver.
Yeah,
Uh,
which his hands kind of went up to touch his face. It
yeah,
wasn't even helmet to helmet.
yeah,
That extended the drive, which ended up on being a touchdown, if not their first touchdown
yeah.
of the game. Um, so I thought it started out, it was a defensive battle. I thought that they had a chance. It wasn't until the second interception where I was like, they can't come back from this.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
The
Because it
defense
was the end of
of
the
the
first
Eagles was
half.
just too strong. Yeah, the defense for the Eagles was just too strong.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, this would be it would be crazy if they came back from this, and I don't see how they are, and they
yeah.
did. They
And then
did it.
and then when Hertz hit Devonta Smith in the third quarter on that like
Hmm.
45-yard bomb, it's like that's a game. The game's over right there. There's
Yeah,
and there were still like 8 minutes left in the third. I'm like, there's
yeah.
zero coming back from this.
I
Like they are
think
done.
on one of those tush pushes, Chris Jones got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, we can cut this game off. We can cut it off.
Yeah.
I was pretty much done with it.
Yeah, there's nothing to watch here.
Yeah. So no, that was it. That was just a utter domination. Um, they beat the better team. Won. I think. I don't. I think it's crazy. The Kansas City Chiefs had been a. They've been 15-1 or whatever it
15-2,
was.
yeah.
15-2. They didn't. They never looked like they were one of the best teams in the NFL. They kind of always look like frauds all season long.
Mm-hmm.
But this is for it to be only shown in the last game is what stinks. Like would those other teams have put up a better fight? Possibly so.
The
The
Bills Eagles would have
Ravens,
been
the
a better Super
Bills,
Bowl.
but they just couldn't beat that
Couldn't beat
team.
the
They
damn
couldn't beat
Chiefs. Yep.
couldn't beat the Chiefs. So Jalen Hurts, congratulations with Jalen Hurts.
He had a
Congratulations to
great
Saquon
game.
Barkley. Yes, he did.
Jalen
Showed
Hurts had the
out.
best game probably since the last Super Bowl because
Yes.
he had a great Super Bowl last time.
Yep. And no, is he 26, 27 and is already going to two Super Bowls and won one?
Yes.
It's impressive.
First quarterback since John Elway to go return to the Super Bowl after losing the first one and win.
Yeah, that doesn't happen a lot.
No, it does not.
Mm.
If you lose that first Super Bowl, you're done. You're donezo. That's why you gotta get there and win. And I mean, good for him. Like Nick Sirianni coached a good game, I guess. Vic
Yeah.
Fangio was the coach of the day,
Big
though. That
Fangio,
that defense
that defense.
was bonkers. They were just all over
Hmm.
the like. They're the Eagles' defense has some big time free agents.
Okay.
Josh Sweat is a free agent.
Mm.
Zach Bond is a free agent, and there's somebody else on the line that's a free agent. It's like I like there's no way they can keep everybody. It's remember when the Broncos were really good and their defense won them that Super Bowl, and it was
Hmm.
like and there were so many like Von Miller and who Danny
Demarcus Ware
Trevathan,
was on that team.
who
Demarcus Ware was on
yep
that team.
Danny Trevathan. They were all like free agents after the Super Bowl year, which is always like the biggest gotcha in the history of
Yep.
sports. It's like you had
It's
that
gonna
great
cost
Super
you.
Bowl. Yep.
You got that whole Super Bowl bonus you got to get.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's tough. Um, but Howie Roseman is a pretty damn good GM.
Yes.
Next thing you know, you'll see Miles Garrett in that uniform, and all they gave up was a second round pick.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Uh, there's things like that. So Howie Roseman has been a fantastic GM for them over the last like 4 or 5 years. But he's been there for 9. And his
Hmm.
first 4 or 5 years were kind of tough. They weren't as, but there was a point where I was reading an article about it because this is what Bears fans do. Whenever there's somebody else does well, you have to find a way to tie it back to the Bears. So uh, they were like, "This is what this is what a good GM does, and this is what our GM does." You know, like, okay, our GM's been at the job for 3 years, and Howie Roseman's been at it for 9 or whatever. But then somebody broke it down and showed like the first 4 or 5 years of his drafting, the Carson Wentz years and all that stuff, and gave up a lot of draft picks to get Carson Wentz,
they
and then
got fairly lucky in a lot of the things that they did.
sure, that's a good
But
portion of it.
but he also went up to get Hurts
Yep,
when everyone was like, "Why did you go up to get
sure,
him?
yep.
Don't you have a Super Bowl quarterback in Carson Wentz?" Right? They had Carson Wentz, and he had an injury.
He was like MVP talk until he got hurt that year, and then Nick Foles won the Super Bowl for him.
And then they went out like a year after that and went and picked up Hurts. And I was like, why are y'all picking up Hurts when you got this guy? They had signed him too.
Yeah,
It wasn't like they didn't sign him, but they traded up to get Hurts. And I was like, y'all could have done so much better than Hurts. And then everything works out. And, well, doesn't work out technically for them because they stink. They want to trading Wentz and Nick Foles,
hmm
and none they have nobody. And it just they brought him out there and he showed out after his rookie year. He showed out.
it took Hurts a couple years to get in the groove. But it was his third year where everybody's like, he's an MVP, and then
He was almost that year. He was an MVP candidate that year
yeah,
that they
and that
went
was
to
the
the
year they
Super
went to the
Bowl.
Super Bowl, right? So
He was
and he had an amazing Super Bowl, but then
uh-huh.
since then we've been
He had
like,
a bet. It's only been
where's
1 year since then.
what's that?
It's only been 1 year since then.
I know, but see, he's had
No,
two
2 years.
he's had 2 seasons.
Yes. So no, last year was the in between the year because the year before that they was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so they were in
They
the
so
Super Bowl.
he
They
was MVP
MVP
candidate.
talk.
He had a bad year last year that they was talking about getting rid of him.
He was he had an okay year, right? It wasn't the MVP talk.
It
Jalen Hurts.
ended bad though
Yeah, and
because it ended in that playoff game
yes,
against the Buccaneers when he was begging, asking people, "What do I do
yeah,
wrong?"
and then this year even they really shied away from the passing game because of Saquon
Yes.
Barkley, which is
Yep.
fine, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it's like,
It
well,
was like the last couple games though, when AJ Brown was throwing pouts.
mm-hmm,
He
and
really like what's name was able to handle that, and he started playing better.
mm-hmm,
He started going downfield looking for them.
mm-hmm. He's
It's just
but we even said it this year. We're like, he really hasn't been that good since the Super Bowl, right? And then now he had his best game, probably his best game, maybe not numbers wise, but
yeah,
like from just execution and results wise, probably his best game since the last Super Bowl. And it was amazing.
throwing
He was amazing.
dimes. Yeah, getting away from the pressure because they did bring pressure.
Yep.
They got to him a few times, but for the most part, they didn't.
He got sacked twice. The
Hmm.
flip side, Patrick Mahomes got sacked 6 times.
one point in time, it was every time he touched the ball.
Yeah,
It was
you're
like
just like,
three,
oh
four in a
no,
row.
no, no. You're just like, how is he survived? And then, oh, and that strip sack where he got some hands to the face. I was like, oh no, he got bent backwards on that one. Like, oh, that hurt.
It
Uh,
was
yeah, he was just getting beat up, and he couldn't do anything. He couldn't hit
no.
receivers, and then
He,
it kills me. This kills me so much. They have garbage time points in a game where they're down by like 30. The Philadelphia's pulled starters, and Mahomes is still out there slinging it to Xavier Worthy like there's a chance they could win with 57 seconds left, no timeouts. They need 3 touchdowns. It's not happening. God bless it. And because of
well,
that, I
listen.
lost a fantasy game.
Oh, tell him why you mad. Tell him why you mad.
Well, I don't. If I was on the reverse side, I'd be like, "Oh, thank you, Patrick Mahomes, for never giving up." Right? Like I understand.
Yeah, yes.
But man,
Oh man.
Kenny Pickett's taking snaps. There's
You should just give up.
the
You
entire
should.
defensive backfield is second stringers. The guys out there just touching the field. They're only on the field for 3 plays. And guess which 3 plays they were? 2 of them were a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Ugh,
It
good
was
night.
it wasn't good. It was not a good game.
Nope.
Uh they they were first. Kelsey is he might need to be done.
He's going to take a
He
long, hard look at it.
That's what he said.
Yes.
But before the game, it was this ain't gonna be my last season.
No, it was not.
After the game, it was I think I'll reevaluate. It looked bad for him.
Yes.
So yeah, but the thing about it is they'll retool. They'll have an off season.
Yes.
They'll try to get the wide receivers maybe in free agency. Uh because they've been trying to do it in the draft for the last 2 years and it has not quite worked for them. They
Mm-hmm.
should probably try to look in free agency, see what it takes to get T. Higgins over there. If they can get T. Higgins, see what it takes to get Brandon Ayuk. Um, is it
Or
Brandon or
Debo
Debo?
Samuel. Debo Samuel will
Debo.
be an interesting piece there. They have some issues as well because they have free agents. Their offensive line got shredded for the most
Mm,
part in that game. And their best offensive lineman, Trey Smith, he's a free agent. They're not going to be able to re-sign him just for cap reasons. So it's like I don't know what they do as a team. I know where they
yeah.
won't go is looking for Kadarius Tony because
Who's in jail?
he got arrested
Who
today
just got arrested today?
for strangling a woman. And I saw somebody say, "How can you strangle somebody who's got no hands?"
That was funny. It makes you laugh.
Yes. But
Oh,
yeah, I don't know what the Chiefs do. They'll be fine. They're always fine. Is Mahomes their quarterback? Yes. Is
they'll be
Andy
fine.
Reid their coach? Yeah. They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it
They
out.
got a good front office. They've always had a great front office.
But
They'll
I
figure it out.
think I think now they have to put a team together. They
Mm-hmm.
have to. They can't. They may not be able to rely on Patrick Mahomes because when you looked around in the second half when they tried to throw Isaiah Pacheco out there running the ball, I was like, that's not going to work.
They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't do
Kareem
anything.
Hunt, that's not going to work. You need better. If you're going to do that, you need a better guy back there than those two.
Yes.
Um, and then you look at it and you're like, okay, Xavier Worthy, they're not even looking deep. They don't have time to look deep for him. Well, if you don't have that time because you're getting pressure, you need a safety valve. And I'm looking around, I'm like, there's no one else. They were trying to give it to Valdez Scantley.
Mm-hmm.
It just they just didn't have the pieces. I think, like I said, I think for too long they relied on Mahomes scrambling back there, making something happen. And the Eagles played amazing contain. They kept him in the pocket. I seen him step up into the pocket directly into a sack.
Yeah.
He thought that was the best place because it was for a second until it wasn't.
Yeah. That Josh Sweat had an amazing game as well. That guy
Mhm.
was in the backfield consistently. He had 2.5 sacks, a couple tackles for loss. He was back there constantly. And I know we've talked about it in the past, but Pro Football Focus gave him like a 55 rating for the game. I was like, I don't even understand how it's humanly possible. The man could have arguably been the MVP of the Super Bowl until that third quarter where Hurts just blew the doors off the game and ran away from the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping I didn't talk about the Eagles, but
It's
they
hard.
won.
It's hard. They won.
They
Saquon
were. And
Barkley got his
I
trophy, his ring.
oh yeah, oh yeah. He said that Giants players and some members of the Giants staff have called him. I bet Mara called him. I bet Mara Mara would have called him. Joe Shane would have left a text.
Yes.
Like
He did. He probably had his like from the offices of Joe Shane.
he got an email.
Yeah.
He got an email
And it's
with
like
the
a
letterhead
form, and
on
like
it.
one of the insert names, like first name didn't get filled out. It's like, dear first name, congratulations on your Super Bowl victory. We here at the
Oh.
Giants appreciate you and all that you've done.
But
So
yeah, no.
one of the things that I found, so because of this podcast, I've subscribed to the New York Giants subreddit, and
Okay.
so the New York Giants subreddit was an absolute mess on Sunday.
So they after the game?
During the game, after the game,
Oh yeah,
it was just an
I'm not.
absolute mess. Uh, most of the posts were like, "Why is Joe Shane still the head general manager? Mara is the reason that they're bad." There's so many things. It's actually it's a nice reprieve from the Bears subreddit, which is always the same,
The same, but different names.
just different names,
Throw,
right?
throw name, insert coach here,
Yes.
insert GM there, insert owner here. Just the
We haven't
same.
been good since X. We'll never be good until Y. It's always those things, right? We haven't been
Hmm.
good. Like this happened. And somebody had like the timeline of the Giants and why they're not good. It was like not signing some offensive lineman in 2008 or something like that. Like I don't even remember what it was.
It
It
was
was
probably Pew.
it was some.
2008.
I'm throwing out a number. I don't know if
Oh,
that's the right number or not, but it felt
I
like it was a long time ago. And like since
I
then,
will
nothing's gone right.
I will tell you the Giants' problem has been bad coaches. They have not been able to get a coach, a solid coach in there since Tom Coughlin left. Since they ran Tom Coughlin out, right? And they
Mhm.
ran Tom Coughlin out. That's what they did. Um, and since then, you're talking Pat Shermer, you're talking oversized suit, you're talking Joe Judge, you're talking. Am I missing someone? Pat Shermer, oversized suit man who only lasted one season. I can't remember
Joe
his name.
Judge.
Joe. No, not that's not oversized suit man.
No. Oh. What is that guy? I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
But yeah, Pat Shermer, Joe Judge, oversized suit man, and then we've got him. What's his name? Dayball. Dayball now. So I would say that
McAdoo. Was it McAdoo?
McAdoo. Yep, McAdoo. Yes. I will say that that has been part of the problem. Not being able to GM. I'm not gonna say GM's been the problem, but we've had a lot of first round draft picks just absolutely not work
Just
for
misses.
whatever
Yeah.
reason.
It's
For
tough.
whatever reason, they just did not work. When you
Yeah.
talk about DeAndre, not I want to say Banks, but Banks is on the team now. But I think his last name it was DeAndre, who's in jail. Kadarius Tony, who's in jail. Like you talk about these players that we just didn't hit on. It's just a lot, and those are supposed to be the guys, just the Evan Neals of the world, on the team now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well,
so when you
as of
when
right
you
now,
miss
yeah,
as of right now, when you
because
miss that many
the new league year
times,
hasn't started yet, so we'll see what happens when that happens.
when you miss that many times, it's every year you miss, it's setting your team back again.
Mm-hmm.
And every year you have to change your coach, it's delaying your success.
Yep.
Right? That is why the day ball thing was such a shock because they were not expecting to go to the playoffs that year.
Mm-mm.
His first year was they were not expecting that.
Yep.
They went, they thought that's their coach. I'm still pro Dayball.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just you can't miss, and you can't miss on those free agent, not the free agent signings. Free agent signings always kind of tricky because we missed on those too. We
Mm-hmm.
missed on Galladay.
Oh boy,
We
that was
missed
a big whiff.
we big whiff. We missed on Waller,
No, that was a
the
trade
tight end.
too, and that was a
Tra-
big whiff too. Yeah.
like you when you do stuff like that, that sets you back.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Golden Tate at one point in time. It was just a weird. It was a weird team. Like the team construction has been weird. We had Gettleman in there who, um, he picked. His picks were Hernandez, Will Hernandez, the offensive tackle, who's now plays for the Cardinals. That he didn't sign him. His picks were Saquon Barkley. His picks were Daniel Jones. His picks. I think he might have picked Kadarius Tony with his last pick, or that might have been what's name's first pick, Joe Shane's first pick. Either way, bad picks. Bad picks has led us to where we are right
I
now.
think Kadarius Tony
So
was Gettleman's last first round pick
yeah, it might have
because
been.
that was the year the Bears drafted Justin Fields, and then the next year the Bears fired their GM and their head coach, and then the Giants and the Bears were both looking for GMs and head coaches at the same time. All right, so
So
I'm gonna share with you the Giants subreddit from we got. Congrats, we made it through one of the worst seasons in NFL history. Uh, how it feels right now, Plankton looking sad with the New York Giants hat on. The silver lining to the week, Eli defeats Peyton in the kick of destiny.
he definitely did.
I
Yep.
hope this buffoon can't sleep for a week. Tomorrow,
I don't understand why
people,
they
I don't know, they're mad
call
at him.
him a buffoon.
Checking on each other as the New York Giants Pepe is sticking a fork in a light socket, right? Like, oh, and Jesus wondering how Giants fans are still alive because the toughest battles. Uh, they do enjoy living rent free in Brady's head.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it, what tonight was like for the Giants is like 15 9/11s. Yeah, it's like they're just like absolutely. It was a treat to scroll through it because it was like out of control. So
No.
upset because which if the Packers were to win the Super Bowl, the Bears subreddit would be equally unbearable.
Listen, I don't know what the fans kind of expected. Like, but I don't know. I don't know. It sucks to watch Philly win at
Hmm.
anything. At anything. It hurts a little bit less for me with Saquon on that team.
Yeah.
I know some people think it should hurt a little bit more, but it doesn't. And I've explained why.
Hmm.
He was never living up to the expectations
Oh, he went at it
with the Giants.
the
And not
2,000
even talking
yards.
about not even about the ring. He probably wouldn't have gotten the ring. So any fan that wants him still on us just doesn't care about the guy personally. Right. And
Hmm.
I can see not care because you have to be realistic in knowing he may have never seen a championship with the Giants.
No.
I say may because who knows what the future holds.
Hmm. Sure.
He
I know. I hear you.
he he probably wouldn't have seen that record, no, or close to it. The 2,000 yards would have been a dream.
Yeah. That would have
Um,
never happened.
so it's just I don't, and the thing is, I don't hate the Eagles players. This is one of the things that's also weird. I don't. Sometimes I usually hate the other teams. I don't really hate them as much,
Hmm.
but whatever. I don't like to see them win. I don't like them happy. I don't like Philadelphia happy. Um, so they get this one. They get this one. I'm just now. I'm glad the season's over. Now, anytime we talk about it's the past, I don't have to
Yep.
talk about the past anymore. So
Yep. We got the combines in 14 days. 2 weeks from today is starting the combine.
we got NBA basketball this weekend.
And
It's the
NBA
NBA All Star
basketball.
game. NBA All Star games this weekend.
Oh yeah, they got that. 2 weeks to the combine, and then we got less than a month until free agency kicks off on March 10th.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of football to talk about, but what we have is the now it's already started the 2025 NFL Draft Big Board. Dane Brugler, he's the guy from the Athletic that always does like the 500 player ranking sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
His number, you want to guess whose number one player is on?
Travis Hunter.
It is Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Then Abdul Carter. Penn State edge. Then the edge from Georgia, Jalen Walker. Then a defensive tackle from Michigan, Mason Graham. Then Ashton Gianti, running back from
Mm-hmm.
Boise State. I don't know how to say his
Boise
last name.
State.
I
Yep.
don't know. I don't think I've ever
JT.
heard anyone say it. I've always just read it. Then the offensive tackle from LSU, Will Campbell. Wide receiver from Arizona. Oh, I've never Tetiora, Tetairoa McMillan. Tashora, maybe McMillan.
Mm.
Then offensive tackle from Missouri, Armand Membo. Then edge from Texas A&M, Shamar Stewart. Tight end from Penn State, Tyler Warren. Tight end from Michigan. Notice I haven't said any quarterbacks yet.
Yes.
Edge from Marshall, cornerback from Michigan, safety from Georgia. Then Cam Ward at number 15 is your top quarterback in the draft, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Michael Williams, Josh Simmons, Tyler Booker, Derek Harmon, Luther Burden. And you have to go all the way down to 25 for Shadur Sanders.
The Shador Sanders hate. I can't see
I don't
it.
think it's necessarily hate. You're just ranking the. And Dane Brugler is
But
pretty.
his season was really good last year. And the year before that, he had a decent season with a really bad O line.
Mhm.
And the 2 seasons before that, he was at Jackson State.
Mhm.
Right. So his college career isn't SEC bound. It isn't like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that probably has a little bit to it. But when what he shows on the field, he shows like he's talented.
Yep.
So
All right. Let me see if I can find all the quarterbacks here on this list. Cam Ward at 15. Shador Sanders at 25. Jackson Dart at 57.
Hmm.
Tyler Shaw at 59.
over Milrow
Jalen
and
Milrow at 61.
and Quentin Ewers.
Will Howard at 84. And that is the last quarterback in the top 100.
Mm.
I've seen talk about Jackson Dart and the Giants recently, as Eli Manning likes him.
Yeah, I'm seeing way more pick a quarterback in the second round, third round, versus going up and getting these guys.
A lot of talk about the Giants getting Matt Stafford, finding a way to get Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
Mm.
I just don't know what you give up for him.
Not much.
Can't. If you give more than like a third for a 38-year-old Matt Stafford,
Mm-hmm.
who will probably want an extension if he gets traded for. He's got 1 year left on his deal.
I think they have I think we got an extra compensatory third round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
So we got an extra third. So I don't know. I don't really know. I would love to literally hit the reset button on. I'd take Cam Ward, and I take Shadur Sanders. I mean, I'll just either one of them. If any one of those guys drop,
I think I'm
that's
try to
fine.
get them both.
No.
Wow.
If any one of those guys drop, that's fine. But I just want to see us actually going in the direction of a rebuild. Not a rebuild. It's for the most part a rebuild, but because it's starting over with a new quarterback, so definitely a rebuild. But the longer until we find that guy who's going to be the perceived guy, he may not be the guy, but until you find someone that for 3 years he knows he's the starter,
mm-hmm.
your team's not ready. So if they go out there and they get a bridge quarterback like a Matt Stafford, it's only last 2 years, we're still not where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Still not where we want to be, because he's in 3 years. Are you still going to want to hand him the ball? I doubt it. A 40-year-old Matt Stafford, maybe.
But I mean,
he would have to take us to the second round of the playoffs.
Look what the Buccaneers did, though. Buccaneers went and got Tom Brady for 2 years. Granted,
Tom Brady was off a championship off the peak of his career.
But he only had 2 years left in him, right? And then they Baker Mayfield after that, and they have not lost a beat.
That's true, but
I mean, You can go and you can get that quarterback. You don't have to draft a quarterback to be good.
No,
Just
no.
saying.
Like I said, but I'm fine with them getting a quarterback. Like I said, the solution for me is old and young.
Hmm.
You get yourself a veteran quarterback and you get yourself a new quarterback. That's the question. That's what needs to happen for the Giants this year for me to be like, okay, that I can get on board with this. I I'm a fan of the draft class we had last year.
Hmm.
I am a fan. I thought that we hit probably 1 through 4, maybe five picks if you want to throw in the tight end who went, or maybe this the tight end
Hmm.
who is going to be the number one tight end. He just needs to get a little bit better. It was his rookie year from Penn State. Um, I thought we did really good. So I thought he did well with getting free agent offensive linemen to fill in. Until the injury happened, it was the best offensive line play I'd seen from the Giants in 5, 6 years, maybe
Hmm.
more. Um, it was until the injury started happening on that offensive line. It's really until we had to bring Neil back in the game, because he was on the bench. He didn't start.
Mm.
Like, so, but once the offensive linemen started dropping like flies, he had to come back in, and then the team started stinking. So, yeah, they got things to do in this offseason. I'm not I'm a little worried, but not too worried because I'm not expecting big things from the Giants this next year. Um, but I would love to see 1,200 yards from Malik Neighbors, 1,000 yards from Tracy. I'd like to see a full Dexter Lawrence, all pro Dexter Lawrence, and hopefully he gets another guy who can go out there and be decent on defense. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see that's it. And whoever's in quarterback position, just don't suck, right? Give us at least more than 15 touchdowns this season because we haven't had that in quite some time from our quarterback.
Yep.
So
I hear you. I understand
don't
that.
need. I don't need much. I don't need much this year. So
Don't need an MVP.
no, 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 no. If I could get a Jaden Daniels type season, oh, that'd be amazing.
Well, yeah,
Do I
for
need
sure.
one? Do I need one to feel better? No, I don't.
Jaden
I
Daniels
don't.
seasons are rare out of
Are
rookies.
they that rare? They're
Yeah.
becoming not as rare as we thought.
Well, it just so happened to be 2 years in a row, right? But
And before that,
Jaden Daniels' season was better than CJ Stroud's.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because when CJ Stroud said it, we haven't seen that in a while. And
We
then they
hadn't seen
come
that
back and
ever.
does it the
And then
next
all of a
year.
sudden it comes back. Yeah, now there'll probably be a drought of like 10 years of rookies where they
Don't
don't do
say
the
that.
same.
There's got to be one more rookie where they do that. It's got to be a New York Giant. Yeah.
Sorry, we're not happening. All right, so something else happened. We had the NFL honors. All the
Yeah. We're
awards were announced in the Hall of Fame.
dishonored.
Yeah. So Josh Allen got the MVP, which
Hmm.
was like, okay, the toss up. Lamar Jackson came in second. It was close. It was like 8 points between the two of them. However, I will say this: Lamar Jackson did get a fourth place vote from one voter, which is absolutely ludicrous. Uh, and that person was former Bears quarterback Jim Miller, who has a serious accent. Like I don't even understand. Like I heard his reasoning and it was bad. Anyway, Josh Allen got the MVP. Great. Coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell. Comeback player of the year for the second time in his career, Joe Burrow. Like, there's comes a point where if you're a superstar and you get hurt and you just come back the next year, and you're good, does that make you the comeback player of the year? Apparently, if you're Joe Burrow, it does.
We thought it was good. I thought it was going to be far, not far for Rogers, and
Yes.
that's what I
Yep.
was giving.
Yeah.
I was giving him that
Big
same
whiff on
rule.
that. Yep.
Thank you,
Offensive player of the year was Saquon.
Saquon.
No surprise there. Defense player of the year was Patrick Surtain the second from the
Mm,
Broncos. He had a great season. Rookie
hmm.
of the year, offensive, Jaden Daniels. No surprise there. Jared Verse, the defense rookie of the year, dude from the
Did,
Rams. No
didn't your
surprise.
boy Caleb say? I don't know what Jaden did that was different than what I was doing. Did he say something like that?
No, I don't think that.
I
I
thought
would
I
have
saw
seen that
something.
quote.
Let me see.
Next gen stats moment of the year. I oh god, I didn't see this. The next gen stats moment of the year, powered by AWS, was not the Saquon Barkley reverse hurdle. It was the Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels' game-winning Hail Mary throw versus the Bears.
Oh, oh.
Uh, the Walter Payton Man of the Year goes to Eric Armstead from the Jags. Um, the FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year, Air Player, Air and Ground. There's no ground associated here. It's just Josh Allen and Jamar Chase. Don't they usually do like, whatever? Um, Salute to Service Award, George Kittle, great. All sorts of Rooney Sportsmanship Award. No one cares. The Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025 only have 4 inductees.
Boo them. Boo them.
Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, who we're all in favor of.
Sure.
And Sterling Sharp. Great.
Sure. Sterling Sharp would have went in as an old person.
He was a senior.
Senior, yeah.
Yep. But no Adam Vinatieri, which was kind of a surprise. And no Eli Manning, which Eli said he made peace with that.
Yes.
That means next year
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady year?
Yes.
Next year has been 5 years since he retired? Super Bowl?
I believe so. 20. Who's eligible for who's eligible?
I think he's got one more year.
Because I remember saying it wouldn't be cool if him and Eli went in at the same time. Jesus Christ.
He retired in 2020.
Okay, it's tough. It's tough. Next year. All right.
Next year's Ben Roethlisberger, right?
Next year this is the people eligible for their first years. Drew Brees.
Okay.
First ballot Hall of Famer in your opinion? Okay, same. Larry Fitzgerald. First ballot Hall of Famer in your opinion?
Yes.
Yes. Jason Witten.
Oh, okay. There's 3.
Frank Gore.
Okay, that's 4.
Frank may not get in on his first time. And then Phillip Rivers, who probably won't get in.
I think Phillip Rivers still has a chance to make the Hall of Fame. I think
if you don't give Eli first ballot, Phillip ain't getting first ballot.
No, I know. So maybe Eli doesn't make it next year then either, because that's a stacked just first ballot class.
That's a stacked class of guys who you would say yes. Even though you can make an argument, the same argument that you would make against Eli Manning. Was Jason Witten in his career ever the best tight end in the league?
No.
I don't think so either. He played with Tony Gonzalez. He played with Antonio Gates.
It took Antonio Gates 2 years to get in.
So with that argument, Jason Witten may not be first ballot.
But
he has no Super Bowls.
I believe Drew Brees is.
I believe Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald for damn sure.
Undoubtedly. So there's 2 of your 5 right there are first time balloters.
There's no limit to how many people can get inducted, isn't it?
I think it's 5, yeah.
I thought there was a limit on seniors that they can do on max of 2 per year, and I thought they can pick as many first round. They can pick as many other guys as they wanted. I didn't think there was a rule on there.
I think it's 5, but I could be wrong. How many guys can go into NFL Hall of Fame each year? Typically between 4 and 8. I guess you're right. So.
There's a limit on seniors you can do per season. But if everyone says that class, the finalists are in, they can be in.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
No. However, there's no set number of new inductees. And 4 is considered low. But then you got guys like Adam Vinatieri who will carry over.
But just being a kicker. If they're
the greatest kicker,
but if you're being stingy with the amount of people you let in, right? Because I don't think they want to let the floodgates in every single. I don't think they want just 10 people in. I don't think they want that ceremony having 10 people in it.
Mm-mm.
So it seems like even though there is no number, they kind of have set who the a number in their head is enough to have it.
Yeah. It always feels like
And
only one of a position gets in every year. Very rarely do you get like multiple wide receivers, multiple quarterbacks, stuff like that. It just depends on the situation, but you don't
yeah,
seem to see it all that much.
well, Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes. And Larry Fitzgerald,
Um,
without a doubt.
Larry Fitzgerald being number 2 in receptions career wise, I think,
Yes.
is kind of gives him that number. Being the closest, the inclination of Jerry Rice we've had since Jerry Rice.
Yeah. And they played together at one point, I think. Same time. So the finalists from this year: Eric Allen, who made it; Jared Allen, who made it; Willie Anderson, tackle from the Bengals, no; Jerry Evans, guard from the Saints; Antonio Gates made it; Torrey Holt didn't make it this year;
He won't make it.
Luke
I
Kuechly did not make it this year.
Luke, I thought should have made it this year because he was at one point in time defensive player of the year, best
He was
best
outstanding.
player in his position in the league.
Yep. Eli Manning didn't make it. Steve Smith Sr. didn't make it. Terrell Suggs
Mm.
didn't make it. Fred Taylor didn't make it. Adam Vinatieri didn't make it. Reggie Wayne didn't make it. Darren Woodson didn't make it. And Marshall Yanda didn't make it. So those are the finalists that weren't
Where's
seniors.
selection? It's a tough list.
So you'd think that like one or two of the didn't make it's would make it next year.
The problem with that is there is a set number of finalists.
Mm-hmm.
It's 15.
Yeah.
Right. So how many did they put on that list?
That made it
How
this
many?
year?
Yes.
3.
3.
Eric
So
Allen,
technically,
Jared Allen, and Antonio
so
Gates.
12 of them didn't make it.
Yes.
Right. So if you're automatically putting those 12 in the final list next year,
Not necessarily, but
not exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Some of them may not even be finalists next year.
yeah, I know.
That's the part.
Especially when your same position has a superstar in it, like a Drew Brees or a Larry Fitzgerald.
That leaves Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt that may not make,
Yeah.
may
Torrey
not
Holt,
even
Steve
see
Smith
it.
Sr. And then you got Fred Taylor and Frank Gore.
One of them should get in.
Yep.
I
Vinatieri, I think, to
He
me,
gets kicked out again.
yeah. The Darren Woodson is a guy that I didn't realize wasn't in the Hall of Fame. Like there's something about him. I just assumed he was a Hall of Famer by now, but he's not. So that's a guy. I don't know. It'll be interesting next year.
It will be.
We
It will
shall
be.
see. Boy, what else is going on? I think that was the like for being the biggest night in sports. Not much else happened other than
No.
the game. Kendrick Lamar had a very nice halftime show,
Mm-hmm.
and
The commercials were. I don't know if I'm getting too old now, or they don't. They didn't do anything for me.
the only one I really enjoyed was the Reese's lava cups, where people were trying to eat lava.
I
Did you see those?
don't know. I thought I saw a lava commercial, but I don't remember that one.
So Reese's peanut butter cups have like chocolate
Chocolate
with peanut butter,
inside of
but
it.
there's like chocolate lava in there, so you break it goos out. So now people are trying to eat lava. So they show all these people just rushing a volcano, an active volcano, trying to eat lava, and people stopping them from eating lava. And that, for some reason, that one made me laugh more than anything else. The ones I didn't like, the
Oh.
disembodied tongue that danced around. I wasn't a fan of that. Did you see that one?
I don't know.
Guy fell asleep and his tongue jumped out of his head and was dancing around. Like it was just like a hyper realistic tongue flying around. Like it was. I didn't like that.
It was good.
Yeah. At least it wasn't like it like ripped itself out and you saw like
A
tongue
blood trail.
tongue guts hanging out. No, I didn't like the tongue one, and I didn't really pay much attention to be honest.
the Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady
No,
commercial.
I threw tomatoes at the TV for both of them.
God, it was so bad.
Yeah,
So bad.
I booed. I audibly booed. And Tom Brady was not particularly good during the Super Bowl.
I'm starting to realize like what it's there's too much dead silence when he's on the
Mm-hmm.
broadcast. Like there's just not enough. I don't know. I don't know. He's there for the color commentary a little bit and some in-game analysis, but he says like a two-sentence phrase and then he's just quiet
Yeah.
waiting for the next play to happen. And then when the next play happens, he says his next thing, what he's going to say, and he's quiet. Instead of feeling like he's having a conversation about the game. And I think that Tony Romo doesn't know when to shut up. He,
Mm-hmm.
he can keep talking. And I think that's where it is. He fills that empty space well. Tom doesn't.
No.
I'm listening just like, there's no one said a word in this broadcast for a second or two.
Yep.
And it's just that Tom is just like, okay, he sees it. He says what happens. He gives his take on it. And he just waits for the next play to go instead of just like elaborating on it, telling us what's going on. Okay, see that's where Romo does. He just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So see, they're in this formation. Right now I'd be looking for this. He doesn't give you any of that.
No.
He just they look a little tired.
Yeah. You
I
know,
wouldn't run that play.
Fox has Greg Olson, who was outstanding. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
Greg Olson, or if I'm Amazon, I'm kicking
You
Kirk
just po- you
Herbstreit
just
to the
poach him.
curb, and I'm getting Greg Olson as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Look, because Kirk Herbstreit he's fine probably at what he does, which is college football. I don't really care about college football. I don't watch it,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not good on the NFL broadcasts. He's better than Tom Brady, though.
That's not difficult though.
No,
Tom is not good.
but Greg Olson, if they were able to scoop him up, that'd be a nice get. I'd be all for that. Because those Amazon broadcasts are tough to watch.
Mm-hmm.
From the pregame, the halftime, the during game, they're just tough all around. They're like, we gotta do so much because we only have one game a week and we're Amazon, and
We
it's
got
like
to
it's
make it
just
a
too much.
production.
Yeah, it's just way too much. Like here's Marshawn Lynch out on the streets, doing something. Like it's almost like Tonight Show bits, right? Like they're like off site do like Conan used to do. Like I'm gonna go play old timey baseball and stuff like that, right? That's what Marshawn Lynch is doing.
Marshall Lynch is great though.
I love Marshawn Lynch. Do you see he's in a movie coming out,
uh,
or it has come out? I don't know if it's come out or not.
he's been in the TV shows on HBO playing characters like usually Marshall Lynch like or a version of Marshall Lynch.
Yes,
All right,
I
so
saw the trailer for this movie, and he says beast mode in it at one point and runs through a wall. All right.
I will tell you something. Of all the post NFL careers, people that I thought would have had a successful post career, I wouldn't have put him up there.
No.
When he played, he kind of had personality, but didn't let us see it. Right? Like I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he didn't say much in front of the mic in fear of getting fined or fear of being laughed
Mm-hmm.
at. So you just didn't hear any of this stuff. Even though he went to Cal, he's not
Mm-hmm.
an intelligent person.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Cal with Rogers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's and it's just that when he talks crazy. He just talks crazy, but he's great. He's very laughable.
He's hilarious. I enjoy Marshawn Lynch. He's funny. But Amazon, I mean, it almost feels like they put together like a good group of people, but like it's way better than the NBC's group of people they put together. But
NBC's group of people is old classics though.
it's like
That's
Tony Dungy. I don't want to hear from Garrett, Jason Garrett. I definitely don't want to hear from. He is as he's corny white bread. I can't handle him. And then you have
you got.
uh,
You don't have Tarico. No, it's Tarico
it's Tarico, but Chris
and
Collinsworth.
Collinsworth.
But then they
Chris
have Chris
Collinsworth.
Collinsworth's kid on there
What?
too. Yeah,
Oh
Jack
man.
Collinsworth. He's on
Oh
there.
man.
Uh,
Did he play for the Seahawks?
no,
Then why is he there?
Nepotism.
Why is he there?
Nepotism.
Oh man.
They have him. That's a terribly boring production. Amazon is just I don't know. I
I
don't.
don't like Amazon, the Fitzpatrick,
No,
Tony Gonzalez,
no,
Richard Sherman,
no.
and that other guy. I don't like that
Oh,
group.
Whitworth. Yeah,
Yes.
I think Whitworth's pretty good.
He's okay.
Fitzpatrick, I do not care for in that role. Tony Gonzalez is no. Sherm's okay.
You know what's funny? I like Sherm and Fitzpatrick together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Gonzalez fits on that
No, he
group.
doesn't. He's
Uh,
he feels like the guy that's like, hey, what are you guys up to? And there's like a different text thread. There's the text thread that's got all of them together, but then there's the other text thread that doesn't have Tony Gonzalez. You guys are awfully quiet today, sort of thing.
The cool kid, he's not part of the cool kids.
No.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious? I watched, not by choice, but I recently watched Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage for a different
Wait a minute.
for a different podcast.
I did not. Okay. So
And you know who's in that movie?
Who's in that
Tony
movie?
Gonzalez. He's like the bad guy, kind of. He's not good in it.
Oh my god! I was like, wait. You won't watch Green Lantern, but you watch
No, it was for a
Triple X,
podcast.
The
So
sequel to Triple
the
X, not
sequel
even
to
the
the sequel
first
to
one.
Triple X. There was the second sequel of Triple
Oh,
X.
okay. Isn't
Not the
Triple
Ice
X
Cube
2
one.
with
This is
Ice Cube?
No, the Ice
That's
Cube
the
one
se-
is Triple X State of the Nation or something like that.
Yeah, that's
The
the
Return
second
of
one.
Xander Cage is one where Vin Diesel
The
comes
third
back.
one. The
Yeah.
third one.
I'd never
okay.
seen any of them prior to it. It was not a treat, I can tell you that much. There's a
I don't
scene.
know. What's that?
There's a scene in this movie. Have you seen it?
I've seen it a while ago. Yes.
There's a scene that made me audibly gasp and laugh out of control because it's so stupid. And it wasn't the action because the action put me to sleep. It was so boring. There's a scene where he goes to London to meet up with somebody that I assume makes sense if you've seen the other movies. And this woman, she has like a whole like group of women hackers there, and they're all hyper attractive, super hot women. And he comes in there, and Vin Diesel says something. I don't know. It's alluded to that he's going to have sex with all these women at once, right? As part of the mission. And you know when like there's a sex scene, but they don't want to show the sex scene, so they always cut to something that is an illusion of sex. The
Yes.
train going into the tunnel, the rocket lifting off, right? So you know what it is, right? So they had this. He's like, oh, the things I do for my country, and there's like 7 women coming around him, right? And they cut to like a dump truck dumping a bunch of gravel. And there's no way that's a visual metaphor for sex or ejaculation or anything like that, right?
I mean, yes, it is. If you said, what did he do? I dropped my load off. That's what he did.
I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking about a bunch of gravel falling. I'm like, there's nothing like it falls straight down. It's like it doesn't even shoot up in the air or anything like that. You know, I didn't think of the dumping a load part. That makes sense, Harland. Thank you for clearing that up.
It's so very funny in that one thing. Oh no.
Yeah. I just thought it was hilarious because it felt incredibly out of place. And now you say that, it's like, it feels dirty.
Oh my god. Are you watching just horrible movies?
No. so it's myself and Keith and the other guy we did the Munsters podcast with, right? So
Yes.
we watched all of the Munsters, and now we're doing
Both?
What's that?
Both Munsters or just the original and not the
No, the
Munsters
original
Returns?
Munsters, just the 1960s, the 2 seasons. Do you know
Okay.
there's like 38 episodes in a season back then? So there's like almost 80 episodes of the Munsters, which was a lot. So now we're doing this movie one where every month one of us will pick a theme, and then we each pick a movie. Now here's the trick. So during those 3 episodes, we often talk about lots of different movies or things that come up, and then the 4th episode, we each pick a movie. We put on a random spinner. It spins around, and then we watch that movie. Well, Triple X Return of Xander Cage came up on the spinner, so we had to watch that.
What was the other? What was his other choice?
I don't even remember. It was like something else and something else. Doesn't matter. I can't remember what they were. And Triple X Return of Xander Cage came up, and that's what we watched. That was the one I put on the wheel because I thought it was hilarious. But the movie is very, very bad.
You could have put Transporter 2 on there. This movie's a horrible bet.
Yeah, well, if Transporter
well.
2 comes up in a conversation, then that's what maybe I'll work it in this week. But yeah, so I watched that, and it had Tony Gonzalez in it, and he's not very good. He's not very good in it at all.
He can catch footballs. That's about it. What he
didn't do that. He got shoved down a toilet, though, out of an airplane by Vin Diesel. So, got that going for him. I don't think he's been anything since. Now I got to look up Tony Gonzalez's IMDb.
His IMDb?
I doubt he's been in anything other than that. He's like, remember when Howie Long was in, was that Broken Arrow? It's similar to that. Tony Gonzalez. Yep. His career consists of, he's been in a handful of things. TV shows. He was in a movie called Fantasy Football. He was in another movie called MVP. He was in Triple X.
I bet all those movies except for Triple X was played as Tony Gonzalez.
Well, in MVP, he was Tony. In Fantasy Football, he was Coach Lance Evans. So it was actually a role.
Okay.
Right? He's been in a TV show called The Neighborhood, where he played a character named Derek. He was NCIS Los Angeles, so he played Captain Alonzo. He was in a TV show called Long Slow Exhale. He played Desmond. I hadn't heard of these shows. He was in normal NCIS, where he played Special Agent Tony Francis. So that's back when they had to, like, just give him his real first name so he wouldn't get confused.
They say, hey, Bob. And he's just like,
I think he's
Bob.
talking to you.
Sorry.
He was in 2 episodes of Arliss as Tony Gonzalez.
Arliss feels like it's been Jesus Christ.
2002, that was 22 years ago.
When I think of Arliss, I think of like 1990s HBO,
it was
like Dream On. Yeah. But 2002 was 20 years ago. But still.
Dream On, yeah. He was also in a TV movie called War of the Worlds 2, The Ending of World War. I guarantee that is not good. It only gets 2.9 stars on IMDb.
His lowest rated movie or anything.
I bet it's not good. Oh, look at pictures. It's not good at all. Oh, boy. But yeah. So I saw that, and yeah. I'm really glad you cleared up the dump truck dropping all the gravel. It just didn't make any sense to me. I'm just like, there's nothing sexy about gravel. There's no even innuendo there. Oh, well.
Yeah, no, the season's over.
The season is over.
It was a fun season. Not for me.
No. Did you want to know what the final stats were? I have
it
right here.
But next week starts... Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, the rewatch.
The Enigma.
All right, so you finished with a grand total of 174 and 108. Respectable. Pretty good. I finished with 181 and 101. 7 games up on you. And as a Mets fan, you're probably used to it being 7 games back for first place. As a White Sox fan, I'm usually like 30-something games back.
Oh, the baseball is upon us.
Yeah, I really don't care. Really don't care.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. The White Sox will probably start hot. They'll be like 5-2. Be like, oh, maybe it'll be a decent season. And they'll end up like 14 and 138 or whatever. Right?
Oh, I'm actually looking forward to this Mets season. I'm glad that, like I said, I'm glad that all my teams don't suck at the same time. That hurts. Sorry.
Yeah, was that a jab?
Sorry. No, I was not a jab, but I was like, oh no, Bulls aren't doing too hot either.
No, there's nothing good in Chicago sports right now. Zilch, nothing. Bulls are terrible. At least the Bulls didn't trade away Luca.
Vucevic.
Oh well, I wish I would have traded
That's what I thought.
Vukovic or whatever, but they didn't. At least they did. They're not the ones that traded away Luca Doncic.
Luca.
Yeah, that's still the talk of the town.
It is. It is. Especially since
AD got
Anthony
hurt.
Davis got injured
Yep,
immediately.
first game he's out at multiple weeks.
Immediately. Non-contact, looked like an abdomen injury from what I saw. A groin, like it didn't look good.
No.
Like,
Yep.
God, stretch something.
Yep.
Do something before the game, sir.
No. Have you gotten stretch? Have you gotten to that lesson on Duolingo yet for Japanese where you
Which one?
storechi?
No, I'm not there.
That's a good
I
one.
am on the katakana 25, which is killing me because it's hard to get points when you only get 15 points per lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to do 25 of them to move on.
I remember that one. That one was tedious and long.
Yes. So I'm sitting here trying to do that, and it's taking some time.
Yes. Storechi oshimasu.
Did the Knicks game already end?
Yeah. Well, all Chicago's bad. Yeah, New York's you got the Knicks at least and the Mets.
Yeah, I got the Knicks and the Mets to look forward to this year.
You know what's funny is there was a long time, where all of New York sports, where your New York sports were bad.
I wouldn't say a long time because
Yeah, the Giants always ended up being good at points.
the Giants were that team that
Kept your fandom
kept my
afloat.
sanity up for a while, and then occasionally the Knicks would pepper in there, and then in 2018 the Mets went to the World Series. So when other people were doing bad, we weren't doing that bad. Yeah, the Knicks have been the team that has let me down longer than anyone. Oh, the Mets.
It's tough.
The Mets went in 2000 and then again in 2018. The Knicks went in 2000 and have not been back since.
No.
The Giants have also went in 2000. Look, did you see how crazy that 2000 was for me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I watched
madness.
Yeah, I remember being in college and I watched with my friends. I lost a bet. I bet one of my friends a jersey that the Giants were gonna beat the Ravens. They didn't. He still has that Ray Lewis jersey.
I lost that bet too. I remember where I was at. Yeah, it was only $20.
I then watched first I watched the Yankees beat the Mets in the Subway Series in 2000. On my college dorm. I watched that happen. And then I watched the Giants lose, and it would have been 1999, 2000 season, which I would have watched. I was watch that back home, but the Knicks lose. But yeah, I watched a lot of losing going on.
Have you? Well, see, I always have that Bulls stretch in
you
there.
Do
6 out of 8.
You can't.
But,
yes.
The Bears, they won in 85, went back in 06.
You got a White Sox win in there.
In 05, won.
Yeah, that's
they haven't
still,
gone back. They barely made the playoffs since then.
That's still recent.
20 years. It'll be 20 years this year.
If we put up from the 90s to now, right? That means we're excluding the one Bears championship and we're excluding one of the Giants championships, right?
Okay.
Just from 90 to now, those 6 Bulls championships,
yes,
beat me out.
There were a lot, but it's very, what have you done for me lately? There's been nothing. They haven't gone back since.
You got 7 because you get your White Sox win. Okay. I have 3.
I also
came
have the 3
from
Blackhawks ones in there. I'm not a big hockey fan, but I did follow the Hawks pretty hard those couple years.
Yeah, no, we got 3 because the Rangers didn't win anything either. The Rangers won in 96, 94. Same year the Knicks went to the championship. They won.
I mean, I think the Blackhawks won 3 out of 5. Yeah, 2010, 2013, and 2015. Almost forgot about those. Yeah,
there's a lot of you. It's a lot of winning that the Chicago has done.
But
And then that's you're not even see, we're not counting the teams that actually do the winning for us. Well, you are. Because if I was counting the actual city, but we're counting teams I'm a fan of, the Yankees would hold a lot of that
yeah.
weight.
Well, please don't act like the Cubs are doing it. They won a
They
World
won
Series.
one. They won one. Yeah, I realize.
so yeah, I'm not even counting the Cubs, but like the two teams that I want to win, the Bears and the White Sox, just don't.
Mhm.
All right, I got the 105 White Sox, and that's it. We're 20 years. That was 20 years ago this season. I'm sure they'll have all sorts of like, let's remember the 2005 White Sox events this year because we want to forget the 2025 White Sox.
Yeah, it's tough. I just want my team, the Mets or the Knicks, to do something.
You know what? Almost, but not quite, cancels out 6 championships. Having a team set the all-time record for most losses.
That's tough.
In a 135-year history of the sport.
That's tough. That almost cancels out 6, but it does. It does it.
It's definitely more recent, right? Still got that bad taste in my mouth. Chris Getz, the GM of the Chicago White Sox, said recently, "Well, we'll win more than last year." You know what that means?
He might not.
They won't.
It may not happen. Oh man, shouldn't have said that.
Nope, it's a jinx.
See,
It's guaranteed they're terrible. I saw they signed somebody today, and it's like, who? I don't know. White Sox come to agreement with an outfielder. I'm like, I don't know who this person is. It could be like a random name generator for all I know. That's how
good
out of tune in baseball I am. Oh well. Well, next week does start our journey into the enigma.
The enigma that is the cut.
Oh, did you read anything about that? What the Jets told him?
Mm-mm.
I gotta find it. The Jets laid down the law with him. He said you have to be at all practices. You cannot do outside media, including Pat McAfee. Like if you want to be on this team, these are the rules. And I'm pretty sure
he said no to those, and that's when he.
Yeah, pretty sure that's what the situation is. I gotta find it here. Shoot.
I wouldn't say like if those rules aren't the rules for everyone on the team, can you have those rules be just for one person? Like I can understand being there for practice. You're required that, but the no interviews outside of
yeah, like no outside media.
That's how I make the money that y'all won't pay me. Remember, y'all got me for cheap.
When the new Jets head coach Aaron Glenn and GM Darren Mogi met with Aaron Rodgers after the season, they drew a hard line. If Rodgers were to return, he not only would need to participate in all off-season team activities, but also stop going on the Pat McAfee show. That revelation drew an audible reaction from blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Rodgers wanted out either way, so it doesn't matter. So Rodgers didn't want to be there. They didn't want him. Like they gave him all these demands, knowing he wouldn't oblige, right? So they can be like, "Well, we tried." No. Nope. All right. Well, we're gonna do that. So if you're gonna play along at home, watch the first episode. Watch the first episode of the Enigma, because we can't do more than one episode a week. That's asking for too much.
Listen, it's a long off season.
It is.
It's a long off season, so
we gotta do that, and then I guess we could always do the quarterback show or whatever, the wide receiver show. I didn't watch that one on Netflix.
That's ESPN not updating when I'm asking you if my Knicks are winning, huh?
Oh,
ESPN?
they're losing. I don't know. I just made that up. All right, Harland. I think that's a good place.
Yeah, man. Good season. Hopefully next year we'll be better.